Good morning and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Teddy, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today is Teddy's ability to understand and respond to his obedience commands, the corrections and motivations that we use while we're working with him, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. And the correction that we give is a tug and release on the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Teddy has been fitted with his own personal training collar, and we will be sure to show you how to properly put that collar on and use it during your one-on-one lesson. Now, as you can see, Teddy is seated very nicely on Fred's left-hand side, which is where all of our obedience training takes place. The first command that they're going to demonstrate for you is heeling, and heeling is proper walking on a leash. Fred and Teddy take off doing that now, and the command that you're going to give is Teddy heel, and you are going to start walking where Teddy should then fall in line nicely, heeling at your left heel position where he's walking at your pace and not lagging behind on that leash nor lunging ahead and pulling on that leash. Also incorporated into our heeling exercise is an automatic sit. So anytime that you're out walking with Teddy and you stop, he should sit nicely just as you saw there. Show you another example of that automatic sit right here. I'm going to circle around. Good job. The next command they're going to demonstrate for you is the stay command, and the stay command is a hand and voice command. You're going to use the open flat of your left palm an inch or so in front of his muzzle and the one-word command to stay, then walk out to the end of your training leash. Teddy should remain seated throughout this entire command in this position and should not break. When you're practicing your long sit stay at home, you want to make sure that you're practicing it frequently throughout your day to help build up his ability to sit and stay for longer periods of time. And you're going to start at about 1 minute, and you'll slowly increase your intervals over time, working up to a total of 3 minutes for your long sit stay. When Fred returns back, he's going to walk all the way around and behind, walking counterclockwise, returning back to heel position with Teddy on his left-hand side. Very nicely completed, and they will demonstrate that heel sit and stay for you again. It is very important. You saw that Fred bent down and gave Teddy a little pet on his head. Use lots of positive reinforcement when you're working Teddy through his commands to keep him motivated. Whether it's physically petting him or verbally praising him, it is very important that if he's completing his commands correctly, you're letting him know that by using lots of positive reinforcement to keep him motivated. So Fred left Teddy in another sit stay. He's out at the end of the leash. He's giving him a moment to hold his sit stay, and now they're going to demonstrate the recall or the come on command. You're going to use Teddy's name to call him into you. Teddy, come is the command you use. He should then come in and sit right in front of you. Return him to heel position then by heeling around the back of you, where he returns to your left-hand side, automatically sitting nicely, waiting for his next command, and they're going to demonstrate that again. Leave Teddy in a sit stay, walk out to the end of your training leash, give him a moment to hold that sit stay. When you deem appropriately, you're going to give the command, Teddy, come. Teddy, come. Gather your leash up as he comes in front of you. And then have him make sure he sits, and then make sure he heels around the back of you. Returning.
No.
Now you saw that he did not sit nicely right away. So the first words out of Fred's mouth were a nice firm no. He repeated the command. Teddy did not follow through that time. So then he said no again, repeated the command, and gave him a correction. It is important to make sure that when you give Teddy a command, he completes that command. Do not get frustrated and give up, because then Teddy wins. The next command they're going to demonstrate for you is the down from a heel position. Again, use the open flat of your left palm, this time straight down towards the ground, and the one-word command to down. Then give the stay command out to the end of your leash again. And with the long down stay, again, this is a command that you want to practice frequently throughout your day to help build up his ability to down stay for longer periods of time. And with this command, he should not break from the down position where he's laying at. And when you're practicing at home, start at 3 minutes and increase your time intervals over time, working up to a total of 5 minutes for your long down stay. Now, if you're having difficulty at first having him down stay for 3 minutes, decrease the amount of time, and then again, slowly increase your intervals over time, working up to your total time of 5 minutes for your down stay. When Fred returns back, again, walking all the way around and behind him as an added distraction. Returning back to heel position, reinforcing Teddy for a job well done. Now, when Teddy first comes home, you want to make sure that you're practicing your commands both indoors as well as outdoors. And at first, pick an area with little to no distractions so that you can get a good feel working Teddy through his commands, and over time, increase the amount of distractions into your training sessions. Fred demonstrates the down command again, out to the end of the broke the command. So you heard Fred give a nice firm no, and Teddy corrected himself back into the down. He's going to give him a moment to hold that down stay, and then they'll demonstrate the recall or the come on command from the down position this time.
Teddy, come.
You can gather that leash again as he comes in. Around the back of you, back to your left-hand side. Good boy. We also recommend that when Teddy first comes home, that you're practicing all of your commands frequently throughout the day, but you also want to set aside about 10 to 15 minutes for the first 2 to 4 weeks at least to work Teddy through his commands in a formal obedience training session. This is great practice for the both of you, and it will help you to get a better handle on his commands, and it will definitely help with the transition back home and learning new rules. This last command they're going to demonstrate is the down from a distance. Leave Teddy in a sit-stay. Walk out to the end of the leash. Give him a moment to hold that sit-stay, and then use your right hand from the end of the leash to give the down command. Fred returns back. Great job, Teddy. Now what Fred and Teddy are going to be demonstrating for you are the very beginnings of the advanced off-leash training. This is something that you will be able to work towards with Teddy in the future. You want to make sure that you advance your training to off-leash. He is completing all of his commands for you 100% of the time on his leash and collar. Again, this is something that you can practice in the future if you are very diligent with practicing his commands with him on his leash and collar at first. And all Fred is doing is just increasing the distance between him and Teddy by dropping the leash. And the reason that we recommend to leave the leash on at first is so that way if he has to be corrected, you can at least grab the leash to provide a correction. Very nicely done. We've demonstrated for you today all the obedience commands that Teddy has learned here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Teddy, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.